and see me at 2060 North Ocoee, right by the old Liner gas station.
All right, Bobby, thanks. Michalea Parker joins us from Bradley Central High School. What do you do at Bradley?
So this year I'm the college access counselor. I mainly work with seniors mostly, but we also do, a lot of work with ninth because that college prep does not start your senior year. We've got to start early. So I say that I'll help students figure out what do you want to do with your life and how do we get you there.
So you have a very interesting article in the Cleveland Daily Banner over the weekend about, first of all, about students who are getting ready for college, and of course this time of the year, everybody's thinking about that, and what they've done on social media. Tell me about this.
Yeah, so Catherine is one of our seniors who just graduated. Awesome student, shout out to her. And so she wanted to sit down with me and just talk about how does your social media presence affect getting into college. And so the route I kind of wanted to take in our conversation is it's really about being proactive. And so I do some work alongside our English teachers, helping students create resumes. And so that's a really good time for that conversations to start. So like, hey, students, as you're building your resumes, and you're looking at sending these out to colleges, to jobs, to scholarship committees, you really want to be mindful of things like social media. You want to look at your voicemail. Is your voicemail professional on your phone? Let's talk about your email address. Do we have a professional personal email address? Not an email address we made when we were, 12 years old. So, right? So
what do you mean? I love Larry Bird at AOL.com?
Yeah,
you wouldn't do that?
I'm not saying that's a bad email.
What's wrong with that?
But we might want to be mindful of those things as we start putting them out there and we're building our adult professional portfolio, right? And so social media is a part of that. And so I kind of say, don't put anything on social media that you don't want your grandma seeing, or you don't want your pastor looking at, or
somebody needs to tell grandma not to put something on social media. I know we're talking about students here, but
that's a whole other conversation.
That's a whole other interview.
So we want them to be mindful of that. And so, am I saying that college admissions are searching these things out? Not necessarily. I worked in college admissions for 5 years. You're busy. You've got a lot to do, right? But if something is brought to your attention, it's now there in the light. And, I'm thinking about scholarships too. We have some amazing organizations here in Cleveland that give out tons of money for local scholarships every year. If they happen to see something that would maybe change their mind, we don't want that to be detrimental for students who are out here applying for colleges, jobs, scholarships, and all those things.
We're joined by Michalea Parker from Bradley Central High School. This is obviously the season that we're having students go to college, and especially those seniors who graduated. We've now had our high school graduations last week, so freshmen. What do you tell those not only students but their families as they get ready to go off, in some cases, or even wherever they go to college?
Yeah, so at Bradley, we're really focused on making a plan. So every student is not going to go to a four-year university. We talk about the 3 E's. So enroll, enlist, employ, right? So we have over 11 students going into the military. We have a ton of students going to 4-year, 2-year. We have students committed to Wright Brothers. Lots of different options for students. So my advice is to find something that you love and do that. My dad told me that at a young age. If you do something that you love, you will never work a day in your life. And for those students specifically who are going off to college maybe, try new things. This is a new time for you to just kind of start fresh. You can, take on a new identity if you want, really figure out who you are, make new friends, don't be afraid to try new things, and it's okay to change your major a couple of times.
That's right. Very, very true. Michalea Parker joins us from Bradley Central High School. I understand you one of your friends over there gave you some stats from Bradley, is that right?
Everybody needs a Jackie Lynn in their life.
Hello, Jackie Lynn. Hello. All right, what do you got for us?
She made sure I was prepared today. So We did just graduate 395 seniors. We have an amazing staff, admin, counseling team at Bradley. We have 171 reporting that they're attending a 2-year college, 132 to a 4-year, 11 military, 81 to the workforce. We had 14 students graduate from Bradley and also Cleveland State.
Wow,
with a TVEC program. Yeah. So just some really amazing students. They're going to go out and do great things, but I always tell them, you can always come back home. Bradley's always going to be your home, and we want you to come back and visit and tell us about all the awesome things that you're doing.
All right. So, Michaelea, you grew up in a radio family with a dad who's been in radio and was in radio for a long time. Tell me about this.
I did. So my whole entire life, my dad has been the radio guy, and I've always been so proud to be Dennis Willard's daughter. I remember probably from the age of like 5, he would have me help him record commercials. I remember going in the station with like the old like 8 tracks, and then I remember when it moved over to digital, and he's just an amazing person. I loved being around him. I loved being out in the community and people stopping him, even when they didn't see his face, they would hear his voice, like, is that Dennis Willard?
Where was this, or where is this?
Yeah, so he worked in Knoxville and Oak Ridge, but for the majority of the time he was in Wartburg, Tennessee, which is where I graduated from at WCO 101.3.
And I understand he's either watching or listening or will be at some point here.
I think he's listening right now.
And you said you wanted to make your dad proud by this interview.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure when you've grown up like that. So, Dad, I hope I've done okay today.
I bet he's proud of you. Dennis Willard, good morning. And we have a 101.3 Dennis, which is ESPN here. All right. Well, listen, thank you so much. This is great information. I know we got, like I said, a lot of parents listening right now of these students who are getting ready to go. So thank you so much.